Welcome back to the Jacksonville Buzz. I'm Steve Strum. This morning we have Marlynn Jones from Career Skills Architect. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. So we were talking a lot about you before we had you on the show. But tell our audience a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Well, Steve, what I do is I help professionals in sports administration learn human resources skills that they can apply in order to receive the promotions that they desire.
So what does that mean when you say people that are in sports and athletics and they want to go to HR? So I'm a football player. I'm 7 feet tall and I weigh, 300 pounds and I'm just a giant wall of human. And I run into other giant walls of humans for a living for a period of time. But we also know that by the time I hit the age of 30, I'm probably concluding my career. So
Career number one.
All my life, I've been running into other heavy human objects. And now I want to go do something. How do you help people do that?
Well, a lot of people start by going to sports administration programs in colleges and universities. However, they don't teach you all of the things you need to know if your goal is to be a leader of one of those organizations. In order to lead a sports administration organization, you really need to be able to do two things. One is to make money for the organization, and the other one is to save money for the organization. So what I help people do is use their experience. In your case, the professional athlete already has experience in sports administration. They've been working with administrators their whole life through college and the pros. But they need to understand the human resources elements in order to advance in their career. Many people want to get in the Super Bowl. But the Super Bowl in the job game is getting to that senior management position, but they don't want to do the preseason work. Nobody wants to practice, but they want to play. So I help make sure that you understand the employment process from the employer perspective so that you know the things that the employers are looking for.
So in our football analogy, which is great, we've got the players on the field, you got the coaches on the sideline, and you have the owners in the owner's box.
Yes.
So how do you take the individual, he or she, that is just, they know how to have leadership on the field, which is still leadership. How do you help them transition from that field leadership, if you will, to the coach of other leaders, to then the owner that is the leader of leaders? How do you help them do that? And this is not a new thing, but you had a little bit of a twist over the last couple of years in your business model.
Yes, well, I worked in sports administration for over 2 decades. So I had experience with marketing and promotions and with compliance and with event management. And when I started teaching in sports administration programs, I thought that those were the skill sets that were going to help my students the most. But what I found, because I track my students and I call them to congratulate them on their promotions, that it's the human resources skills that they picked up in the professional development courses that actually led them over the top. So you need to understand how to be able to help your organization generate not just revenue, but profits. And you do that by learning how to sell. Because you must make sure that you're comfortable getting your customers to depart with their disposable income on a regular basis to attend your events. And you're competing with so many other events out there for people's disposable income. But you also need to understand ways to avoid costly litigation. So you need to understand negligence. You need to understand Title IX and compliance and how violations in those areas can cost your employer money. So I try to fill in the gaps of what people don't learn in their sports administration programs. So it's like a virtual internship where you get to work with me, depending on how you learn. So some people learn by writing, and reading. So then we have ebooks. Some people learn by hearing. So we have audiobooks. Some people learn best in an individual setting. So those are mini courses that are digital. Some need to be with others in a group and they want to help expand their network. So they're group coaching programs for that. So I offer different types of learning styles for the different ways that people learn so that they can fill in those gaps and help decrease their learning curve.
So if people want to find out more about that, because there's so many things we can talk about there, right? Everywhere we go, there's camera, right? And all of a sudden, you're on the side of the sideline, you're in leadership, and now all of a sudden you're part of the athletic directorship, and then all of a sudden there's a scandal, and all of a sudden then you don't have a job.
Exactly.
And you can't get a job anywhere because it's just, if it happens in life and it's not on Facebook, it didn't really happen, right? If people want to find out more about your firm or you or how they can connect, what's the best way to do?
I have a Facebook group, and it's called Next Level Sports Administrators. I also have a podcast, which is called View from the Big Chair, Examining the Cost to Be the Boss, where I interview industry leaders and professionals who share their journey, and they tell you the skill sets that they're looking for when they hire for senior level administrative positions.
I love that. The cost of being the boss in the big chair.
Yes, and the big chair. And Instagram, Career Skills Architect.
That's fabulous. Well, I really appreciate you coming. It's really interesting to see all these businesses that have kind of flourished through the last couple of years where we certainly have had a new economic environment and how you're able to provide those skill sets for people that may just have all the stuff they need, all the stuff, they just need the final pieces of polish on it.
Yes.
I appreciate that. Thank you for coming today.
And thank you so much for having me.
Yes,
I really appreciate it.
Guys, thanks for joining us on the Jacksonville Buzz. If you like us, share us, and remember, live with gratitude.